They say nothing survives dissolving into pure light, yet a blue flower grew where an alien died. And rumor says it wasn't a miracle. It was a human who made the impossible choose to stay. Before we begin, tell me where you're watching from, subscribe to join this journey, and let's start the story. The pocket watch ticked again at 3 in the morning, which meant Cole Redding was drunk enough to believe in miracles. He sat on the porch of a mansion worth more than some orbital stations, staring at the mechanism that had stayed silent for 10 years, the same amount of time his son had been dead. "You know what's funny, Jamie?" he said to the watch, to the desert, to nobody. "I can buy entire planets worth of farmland, but I can't buy 5 more minutes with you." The whiskey bottle was half empty, or half full, depending on whether you were an optimist or a liar. Cole Redding was neither. He was just a 52-year-old man who had built an empire on the bones of better days, mixing human grit with alien technology until the credits rolled in faster than he could spend them. Agribusiness, terraforming contracts, refugee labor management. He made money turning deserts green and hearts cold. The truck's engine cooling ticked in rhythm with his watch. Another inspection trip done, another day of checking automated systems that didn't need him, managing workers who avoided eye contact, signing contracts that meant nothing. His wife used to say he was building monuments to grief. She was right. Then she died in the same accident that took Jamie, and he built bigger monuments. Cole stood, legs unsteady, and decided to drive the perimeter one more time. Terrible idea, the kind he specialized in lately. The desert night was the temperature of regret, cold enough to make him wish he had worn something heavier than a denim jacket that cost more than most people's annual salary. The cargo train tracks ran parallel to his property line, a silver scar cutting through the Texas wasteland. He had fought the railroad expansion for 2 years before realizing fighting made him feel alive, and feeling alive made him remember why he preferred being numb. So he let them build it. Let them run refugees and cargo through his land at all hours. What did it matter? Something moved near the tracks. Cole slowed the truck, squinting through the haze of expensive scotch and cheap choices. A bundle of rags, maybe. Trash blown against the rails, except trash did not tremble. Trash did not curl into itself against the cold like a question mark made of desperation. He stopped, considered driving on, considered a lot of things that would have made the morning easier. Then he got out. She was small. Too small for the size of her fear. Sarin, he recognized from the faint blue tint of her skin, the oversized eyes that caught starlight like liquid glass. Refugee species. Banned from receiving human assistance after some political mess he had not bothered to understand because politics were for people who still believed changing things mattered. She looked up, saw him, went absolutely rigid. "Por favor," she whispered, mixing languages in her panic. "Please, do not take me back." Cole swayed slightly, blinked, tried to calculate the exact number of laws he would break by doing anything other than walking away. Lost count around 7. "Back where?" he heard himself ask. She did not answer. Her eyes rolled back and she collapsed like a puppet with cut strings. Cole stood there for a long moment, watching his breath cloud in the freezing air, watching this alien girl not breathing steady. Thinking about Jamie at 8 years old, asking if they could keep the stray dog that wandered onto the ranch. Thinking about all the things he had said no to that did not matter anymore. "Ah, hell," he muttered, scooping her up. She weighed nothing, felt colder than the desert night. "Nobody dies frozen in my desert. I got standards." He carried her to the truck, already composing the list of stupid decisions this would lead to. Started the engine. Turned the heat up. Watched her chest rise and fall in the passenger seat. "You better not make me regret this," he told her unconscious form. Then laughed, because what was one more regret in a collection that could fill warehouses? The mansion swallowed them both, warm and empty and waiting. Cole set her in the guest room that had not seen guests in a decade, covered her with blankets that cost more than mercy should, and sat in the hallway outside like a sentry guarding something he could not name. The watch in his pocket ticked steady, still working after all these years of silence. Maybe miracles were just stupid decisions that got lucky. He would find out soon enough. She woke, screaming. Not loud. Worse. The kind of scream that stayed in the throat because letting it out might draw attention, might bring punishment, might confirm that the nightmare was real. Cole stood in the doorway holding coffee that suddenly felt obscene in its normalcy. "Easy," he said, hands up like he was calming a spooked horse. "You are safe. Sort of. Legally questionable, but safe." She pressed herself against the headboard, eyes tracking every movement. The morning light through the window made her skin shimmer faint blue, like someone had dipped her in twilight. Her breathing came rapid and shallow. Cole set the coffee on the dresser, stepped back. Tried to remember the last time he had talked to someone who was not a business associate or a bottle. "I am Cole," he tried. "Cole Redding, this is my house. You passed out by the tracks last night. I brought you here." She stared. "You speak English? Standard Galactic? Mandarin? I got a translator somewhere if you need." "English," she whispered. "I speak." "Good. Great. That is one less problem." He gestured vaguely at the room. "There is a bathroom through that door. Shower works. Towels in the cabinet. I will make breakfast. You eat breakfast? I assume you eat." "Never met a species that did not eat something." He was rambling. Jamie used to make fun of him for rambling when nervous. Except Jamie was not here to make fun of anything anymore. "What is your name?" Cole asked. Long pause. Like she was weighing whether names were dangerous to give. "Nari. Nari. Okay, well, Nari, I am going to be in the kitchen making food that may or may not be appropriate for your biology. Come down when you are ready, or do not. I am not going to force you to do anything." He left before she could respond, before he could see the fear crack into something else. 20 minutes later, she appeared in the kitchen doorway, having clearly showered and changed into the clean clothes he had left. The clothes hung loose, made for someone taller. She looked like a child playing dress-up. She looked terrified of the refrigerator. "It is just a cooling unit," Cole said, amused despite himself. "Keeps food cold. Not dangerous unless you really hate leftovers." She jumped when the toaster popped, flinched when the coffee maker gurgled, treated every appliance like it might explode. Cole made eggs and tortillas, the only breakfast he remembered how to cook, and watched her examine the food like it might be a test. She was failing. "Not poison," he said. Probably should have led with that. She ate slowly, carefully, like someone who had not seen regular meals in a long time. They did not talk much that first day. She did not trust him. He did not blame her. Cole showed her the house, the land, the boundaries she should not cross if she wanted to avoid the workers who would have opinions about her presence. She nodded a lot, said little, disappeared into the guest room whenever he got too close. But on the third day, something changed. The harvesting drone broke down in the north field. Cole was elbow-deep in its guts, cursing the Centauri engineer who had designed a circuit board that required 3 hands to access, when Nari appeared at his shoulder. He nearly dropped the plasma torch. "I can fix," she said quietly. "You know Centauri tech?" She did not answer, just reached out and touched the exposed circuitry. Her fingers traced the pathways like she was reading Braille. Something hummed. The drone shuddered once and lifted off the ground, systems powering up in perfect sequence. Cole stared. "How did you do that?" "I listen," she said. "Machines want to work. Sometimes they forget how." Over the next week, she fixed everything. The generator that had been glitching since March, the irrigation controller that ate commands, the security panel that randomly locked him out of his own panic room. She touched them, and they remembered themselves. On the 8th day, Cole found her in his study, holding the pocket watch. The one that had ticked for one night, then gone silent again. He had left it on the desk, meaning to put it away, meaning to do a lot of things he never quite managed. She looked up, guilty. "I am sorry. I should not touch. It is fine. It is just broken." "No." She held it to her ear, listening. Her eyes closed. Her fingers moved in patterns he could not follow. Not broken, sad. And the watch began to tick. Cole felt something crack in his chest. 10 years. 10 years of silence. "You fix what is broken," he said hoarsely. Nari opened her eyes, and they were impossibly deep. Not everything, only what still wants to live. The words hit him like a bullet made of truth. She set the watch in his palm, and he could feel the steady heartbeat of Jamie's last gift, still alive, still fighting. "Thank you," he managed. She smiled, small, uncertain. The first real expression he had seen on her face. Outside, his workers started talking. News moved like wildfire in small towns, even small towns sprawled across desert and fed by alien labor. Cole Redding was harboring an illegal refugee. Cole Redding had gone soft. Cole Redding was about to learn what breaking the law cost. But for that moment, holding his son's watch, listening to it tick, Cole Redding did not care about any of it. Some things were worth the price. He was about to find out exactly how much. The workers left on a Tuesday. Not all at once. That would have been honest. Instead, they trickled away over 3 days, citing family emergencies and better offers and transportation issues that coincidentally started the day after Rita Jenkins saw Nari in the garden and spread the word faster than a solar flare. By Friday, Cole stood in an empty equipment yard, watching his empire operate on skeleton automation, which was efficient but felt like admitting defeat. Jax was the last to go. Good worker, better welder. The kind of steady hand you built things around. He would not meet Cole's eyes when he collected his final pay. "It is not personal, Mr. Redding." "Then what is it?" Jack shifted weight, uncomfortable. "My family. They are worried about associations. With the Saren situation, you understand." Cole understood perfectly. Understood that fear wore many masks, and cowardice dressed up as pragmatism. He said none of this. Just handed over the credit chip and watched another piece of his operation walk away. "It is because of me," Nari said from the porch. She had gotten quieter over the past days, like she was trying to take up less space, trying to disappear without actually leaving. "It is because people are idiots," Cole corrected. "You did not make them idiots. You just gave them an excuse to show it." But the damage spread, contracts canceled, supply chains redirected. Business partners who had smiled at charity galas now refused to return calls. The news feeds picked it up, local at first, then expanding. Billionaire harbors illegal alien. Questions about loyalty, speculation about motives. The kind of stories that turn complicated situations into simple narratives that fit in headlines. Cole Redding, traitor to humanity. He poured himself a drink at noon and did not bother pretending it was just one. Nari watched from the doorway, silent and sorrowful. "You should send me away," she finally said, "before you lose more. I have lost more than this already." The words came out harder than he intended. Losing business is not the same as losing people. She did not respond, did not know about Jamie and Sarah, did not know about the ship he designed, the shuttle that was supposed to be safe, the investigation that cleared him of negligence but not of guilt. Did not know he had spent 10 years building an empire because building things was easier than feeling things. That night, he found her in his study again, holding the burned photograph, the only one he kept. Sarah and Jamie at the beach, laughing at something outside the frame. The fire from the crash had caught the edges, turned their joy sepia and fragile. "I am sorry," Nari whispered, touching the damaged corner. Her fingers glowed faint blue. "I am sorry I cannot fix this." Cole took the photo carefully. "Some things are not meant to be fixed, just remembered." "You hurt," she said. It was not a question. "Every day." "Me too." She sat on the floor, knees drawn up. "I was medic. For my people's military. We had prisoners. Command wanted information. Wanted me to use my touch to cause pain instead of heal. I could not. So I ran." The pieces clicked. The fear. the desperate escape, the way she flinched from authority. "They called me defective," she continued, voice barely there. "Said empathy was weakness in wartime. Maybe they were right. Maybe I am broken too." Cole sat beside her on the expensive carpet that suddenly felt ridiculous. Two broken people in a mansion full of working machines. "You fix what still wants to live," he said, echoing her words. "Maybe we both just forgot we wanted to." She looked at him, those liquid eyes full of something he could not name. The call came at dawn. His last veterinarian contact, voice tight with apology. Storm, Cole's horse, the 20-year-old stallion who had been there through everything, was dying. Colic. Bad. And no, he could not come out. Could not be associated with the ranch right now. Surely Cole understood. Cole understood he was watching his world collapse one piece at a time. He found Storm in the stable, lying on his side, breathing shallow. The animal's eyes found his, and the recognition there was worse than any accusation. Cole knelt in the straw, running a hand down the familiar neck. "I am sorry, boy," he whispered. "I am sorry for all of it." Nari appeared in the stable entrance, took in the scene, walked forward without hesitation. "I can help," she said. "He is dying." "Then I will try anyway." She knelt beside Storm, placed both hands on his flank. Her skin began to glow, soft blue light spreading like dawn. The horse shuddered, made a sound between relief and surprise. Cole watched as the tension drained from Storm's body, as the breathing steadied, as impossible became real. But Nari's light flickered, dimmed. When she pulled back, the blue of her skin was fainter. She swayed, and Cole caught her. "What did you do?" "What I was made for," she said tiredly. Before they decided making was a mistake. Storm stood, shook himself, walked over and nuzzled Cole's shoulder like nothing had happened. Cole looked at Nari, really looked, and understood. She did not fix machines. She fixed life. She took the pain into herself and turned it into healing. And it cost her. Cost her every time. "You are not broken," he said firmly. "You are the opposite of broken." She smiled sad and small. "Then why does helping hurt so much?" He had no answer for that. Only the knowledge that some people were built to care even when caring destroyed them. His wife had been like that. His son, too. Maybe that was what he recognized in this strange blue alien sitting in his stable, surrounded by the wreckage of his half-built life. Maybe that was why he could not let her go. "We need a plan," Cole said. "Something better than hiding, something that works." Nari looked at him, confused and hopeful. Like what? Cole thought about all the money he could not spend on the people who mattered, thought about empty mansions and full accounts, thought about building monuments versus building meaning. "I have an idea," he said. "Probably a terrible one. You interested in terrible ideas?" For the first time since he found her, Nari laughed. It sounded like light feels. "I think terrible ideas are how we got here." "Then let us make it worse." The watch in his pocket ticked agreement. Rita Jenkins stood at Cole's door at 7 in the morning holding a casserole and a loaded opinion. She was 70-something, built like weathered oak, and had lived in the valley longer than some of the rocks. Cole knew her from town meetings where she voted against everything and complained about the results. "I want to see her," Rita announced, pushing past him without invitation. "Good morning to you too, Rita. I saw what she did, for Storm. Word is you got an alien healer on your property." Rita set the casserole on the counter with more force than necessary. "That true?" Cole considered lying, decided tired. "She is not a healer. She is a person who happens to heal. There is a difference. My hip has been bad for 8 years. Doctors say surgery, but I am too old to go under. They are wrong, but they will not listen." Rita fixed him with a look that had probably stopped tanks. "She's seeing patients." "She is not a clinic, Rita. She is a refugee trying not to get deported. She fixed your dying horse. That is doctoring in my book." Nari appeared on the stairs, cautious. Rita turned, and something in her expression shifted from demand to assessment. The old woman and the young alien regarded each other across the expensive kitchen that neither of them belonged in. "You the one glows blue?" Rita asked. "Sometimes," Nari admitted. "Can you help hips?" Nari looked to Cole, uncertain. He shrugged, out of his depth and aware of it. Nari approached Rita slowly, like she was the one who might bolt. "May I?" She gestured to Rita's side. "You are asking permission? Doctors just do things and bill later. I like you already." Nari's hands hovered over Rita's hip, not quite touching. Her eyes closed. The blue glow started soft, then built to something that made the kitchen feel holy. Rita gasped, not in pain but in relief so profound it looked like pain's opposite. The light pulsed once, twice, 3 times, then faded. Nari stumbled back. Cole caught her elbow. Rita stood very still, then tentatively moved her leg. Then moved it more. Then did a little shuffle that would have been dancing if dancing did not require rhythm. "Lord in heaven," Rita breathed. "It does not hurt. First time in 8 years it does not hurt." She grabbed Nari's face in both hands, studying her. "You are a miracle wrapped in strange skin, girl." Nari looked overwhelmed. "I just listen. Feel where the hurt is. Try to carry it away." "Carry it where?" Nari touched her own chest. "Here." Then it fades. Rita's expression changed, understanding, and something like horror. "You take the pain into yourself? Every time?" "It is how my gift works. My people use technology that does not require this. But I was born different, born feeling." Nari's voice went soft. "They said it was mutation, defect. That real Siren do not experience others' suffering." "Then real Siren are idiots," Rita declared. "You just gave me back 8 years of life. That is not defective, that is divine." She left 20 minutes later, casserole forgotten, hip working, and within 2 hours Cole's property line had visitors. A construction worker with a torn rotator cuff, a young mother whose infant would not stop crying from colic, an old farmer with a kind of back pain that came from decades of bad posture and worse choices. Rita had talked. Of course Rita had talked. Nari saw them all. Cole watched her glow and dim, taking on pain like it was currency she could exchange for belonging. Watched the blue of her skin fade incrementally with each healing. Watched her smile even as the cost accumulated in her bones. "You need to stop," he told her after the 6th person left. "You are hurting yourself." "I am helping them." "You can do both. Those are not mutually exclusive." "For me they are." She sat heavily on the porch steps. "This is what I am for, Cole. The only thing I have ever been good at. Let me be good at something." He wanted to argue, wanted to point out that she was good at fixing machines and making terrible jokes about his coffee and existing in a way that made his empty house feel less like a mausoleum, but the desperate hope in her eyes stopped him. She needed this, needed to matter. He understood that in his bones. "Okay," he said, "but we do this right, not back alley medicine, something official, something that protects you." "How?" Cole thought about his fortune, sitting in accounts like hoarded grief. Thought about what his wife would say about using money for good instead of using it to avoid feeling. Thought about building something that mattered instead of something that impressed. "We build a clinic," he said. "Veterinary, officially. For animals? Nobody can argue with treating animals, but inside, quietly, you help whoever needs it. Human, alien, whoever. We call it care, not healing. Care is legal." "Care is just..." Nari stared at him. "You would do this?" "I have been looking for a reason to spend money that means something. You just gave me one." They started construction the next week. Cole hired contractors from 3 towns over, people who did not care about local politics or alien refugees, as long as the pay was good. The building went up fast, modular and efficient, designed to look like a high-end veterinary hospital because that was the legal fig leaf they were hiding behind. "Doctor." Machen showed up on week 2. She was sharp-featured, sharp-minded, and carried herself like someone who had seen everything and was professionally unimpressed. She walked into the half-built clinic, examined Nari with clinical detachment, and asked the kind of questions that indicated a mind-running calculations Cole could not follow. "I have been researching sarin biology since Rita called me," Dr. Chen said. "You are an empath healer. Theoretical, previously. They said it was propaganda. But you are real." "I am real," Nari confirmed. "Show me." Cole brought out a cat with a broken leg, a stray he had been feeding. Nari healed it in 3 minutes. Dr. Chen recorded everything, muttering in Mandarin, eyes bright with scientific fascination. "This is revolutionary," Dr. Chen said. "Do you know what you are?" "Defective," Nari answered automatically. "No, you are the next evolution of medicine, empathic healing. Do you understand what this means?" Nari looked lost. Cole stepped in. "It means you are not broken. It means they were wrong." Dr. Chen nodded sharply. "I want to partner with you. Study this properly. Help you understand your own biology. In exchange, I provide legitimate medical oversight. Make this legal. Make this defensible." Cole and Nari exchanged looks. This was more than they had planned. This was dangerous. This was exactly what they needed. "Welcome to the terrible idea," Cole said, extending a hand. Dr. Chen shook it. "I have been waiting my whole career for a terrible idea this good." The clinic opened soft. Word of mouth only. Rita became unofficial scheduler because Rita could not help herself. The first week saw 12 patients. The second week, 30. All animals officially, all hurting things actually. Nari glowed and dimmed, glowed and dimmed. Cole watched the blue fade a little more each day. "Doctor." Chen took notes, worried but fascinated. Rita brought casseroles and ran interference. And Cole felt something he had not felt in 10 years. Purpose. Then Senator Marcus Harwell's office called, and the terrible idea became a disaster. "Mr. Redding, this is official notice. You have 48 hours to present documentation for your clinic operations. Failure to comply will result in immediate inspection and potential criminal charges. Have a blessed day." Cole hung up, looked at Nari, who had gone very still. "We knew this was coming," he said, calmer than he felt. "What do we do?" Cole thought about empty mansions and full hearts, about all the ways you could lose everything and some of the ways you could choose what mattered. "We get ready," he said, "and we do not hide anymore." The watch in his pocket ticked like a countdown. The child was 7 years old and dying of leukemia. Her name was Maya, and she had been through 3 rounds of treatment that left her small and bald, and fighting harder than most soldiers. Her parents brought her in through the back entrance at midnight, past the official veterinary signage, past the legal fictions they were all maintaining. Cole met them at the door. "Please," the father said. His name was irrelevant. His desperation was universal. "We heard stories about miracles. We do not have anywhere else." Cole should have turned them away, should have cited liability and law and all the sensible reasons why you did not let dying children into unauthorized medical facilities. Instead, he led them to the back room where Nari waited with Dr. Chen. Nari looked at Maya, and something cracked in her expression. She knelt to child height, movements careful. "Hello, I am Nari. I'm going to try to help you feel better. Is that okay?" Maya, impossibly brave, nodded. The healing took 40 minutes. The longest Cole had witnessed. Nari's glow pulsed in waves, and he watched her skin fade from twilight blue to something closer to gray. Watched her shake with the effort of pulling sickness out of small bones. Dr. Chen monitored vitals, recording everything, professional mask barely hiding her awe. When it finished, Maya sat up, color in her cheeks, eyes bright and clear. "I do not hurt anymore. Why do I not hurt?" her mother sobbed. Her father made sounds that were not quite words. "Doctor." Chen ran tests that would take days to process but already showed impossible improvement. Nari collapsed into a chair, breathing hard, skin dull. Cole brought her water. That was too much. That was exactly enough, Nari corrected. She is a child. Children should not hurt like that. Neither should you. She smiled, tired and true. Someone has to carry the pain, Cole. Better me than her. The parents tried to pay. Cole refused. They tried to thank him. He redirected to Nari. They asked who she was, what she was, how this was possible. Dr. Chen gave them the clinical explanation that explained nothing. They left with their daughter walking between them, and Cole understood they had crossed a line that had no return path. Maya was not the last. A construction worker with crushed vertebrae from an accident his insurance would not cover. An elderly Centauri refugee with radiation poisoning from old wars. A teenager with chronic pain that had stolen 3 years of life. They came at odd hours, through side doors, carrying hurt and hope in equal measure. Nari saw them all, every single one. She is killing herself, Dr. Chen told Cole on week 3. They stood in her makeshift lab, looking at scans that showed what compassion cost. Her cellular structure is degrading, slowly but measurably. Each healing takes something she cannot regenerate. Have you told her? She knows. She does not care. We have to make her care. Dr. Chen looked at him with something like pity. You cannot make someone care about themselves when they have decided others matter more. You should understand that. You have been doing the same thing for 10 years, just with money instead of light. The observation landed like an accusation that was also true. Cole had been building monuments to grief. Yes, but also burning himself as fuel because burning felt like purpose. He recognized the pattern in Nari because he had lived it, was living it. So, what do? We document everything. We prove what she can do, and when the authorities come, we make them choose between law and miracle. Senator Harwell came on a Thursday, not in person. That would have been honest. Instead, he sent inspectors with badges and attitudes, official representatives of public safety who were really just political soldiers following orders. They examined the clinic, checked licenses, asked pointed questions about patient logs that did not exist officially. Cole met them with lawyers and documentation and the kind of cooperative hostility that came from having too much money to ignore and too much bad press to dismiss. They left with nothing actionable but plenty of suspicion. The call came that evening. Mr. Redding. Harwell's voice was smooth, practiced, the voice of someone who won arguments by making them about principle instead of pain. I will be direct. You are operating an illegal medical facility using unauthorized alien labor. You have 48 hours to cease operations and surrender the Saren individual for proper processing. Failure to comply will result in criminal charges. I am trying to help you here. Help me understand something, Senator. What exactly is the crime? Helping people who hurt? The crime is harboring a banned refugee in violation of public health protocols. The crime is operating without proper medical licensing. The crime is putting our community at risk. Our community, Cole repeated. When did sick children become risks instead of reasons? Silence on the line. Then, colder. You have 48 hours. Use them wisely. Cole found Nari in the clinic, cleaning instruments that were already clean. Nervous energy. He recognized that, too. They are coming for me, she said. Not a question. They are trying. You should let them take me. You have done enough. More than anyone. Funny thing about enough, Cole said. I spent 10 years thinking I had not done enough. Not for my family. Not for anyone. Then you showed up and fixed my son's watch, and I realized maybe enough is not about quantity, maybe it is about choice. I do not understand. I choose you, Cole said simply. I choose this. Whatever comes. Nari's eyes filled with something that shimmered. Why? Because you fixed what was broken in me without even trying. Because you care when caring costs everything. Because someone needs to tell you that you matter, not just what you can do. He sat beside her, two broken things in a room dedicated to healing. You are not a tool, Nari. You are a person who deserves the same care you give everyone else. She leaned against his shoulder, a gesture that would have been impossible 3 months ago. They sat in the quiet clinic that hummed with secret hope. What do we do? She finally asked. Cole thought about it. About running, hiding, all the ways you could survive without living. Then thought about Maya laughing, about Rita dancing, about all the people who hurt less because someone cared enough to hurt more. We fight, he said, legally, publicly, loudly. We make them choose between being right and being good. And if they choose being right, then we lose together, but we lose standing up. Nari pulled back, looking at him with those impossible eyes. You would risk everything? Your fortune, your freedom, for me? You risked your life for strangers, Cole pointed out. This seems like the least I can do. She smiled, and even dimmed, she glowed. Thank you, she whispered. Thank me when we win. If we lose, you can blame me instead. They laughed. Neither of them convinced victory was possible. Both of them committed to trying anyway. The watch in Cole's pocket ticked steady. Still fighting. Still alive. Just like them. Senator Marcus Harwell lost his daughter on a Tuesday in spring 15 years ago. Cole did not know this until he started researching his enemy and found the old news articles. Terrorist attack. Orbital station. Radical alien separatists who believed humanity had no place in galactic affairs. 47 dead. Among them, a 12-year-old girl named Elizabeth who had wanted to be a veterinarian. The irony was not lost on Cole. He sat in his study at 2 a.m, whiskey untouched for once, reading about a man whose grief had calcified into policy. Harwell had built his entire political career on protection, on keeping humanity safe from the threats beyond, on drawing lines between us and them so clearly that compassion became collaboration and helping became treason. Cole understood him perfectly. They were the same man, just pointed in different directions. Both had lost everything. Both had spent years building fortresses around the empty spaces where love used to live. Harwell built his from law and order, Cole from money and isolation. The difference was what they let through the walls. You look tired, Nari said from the doorway. She did that now. Appeared in doorways. Existed in his space without apology. 3 months ago she had been terrified of shadows. Now she haunted them on purpose. Research, Cole said, gesturing at the screens. Trying to understand what we are up against. She looked at the articles, at Elizabeth Harwell's school photo, smiling and hopeful and about to be erased. Something crossed Nari's expression that might have been recognition. He hurts, she said quietly. We all hurt. He turned his into a weapon. So did you. Before. The money. The isolation. Weapons look different, but they all cut the same. Cole wanted to argue. Could not. I never used my pain to hurt others. No, you used it to hurt yourself, which is worse. At least his direction is outward. The observation sat heavy between them. Nari moved to the window, looking out at the desert that had become something like home. Her reflection in the glass was faint. Too faint. The blue had drained to almost translucent over the past weeks. She looked like a ghost, trying to remember how to be solid. I found articles about me, too, she said, on the Sarin networks, about the military medic who deserted, who refused orders. What did they say? That I was weak, that empathy in wartime is treason, that I chose enemy suffering over mission success. She touched the glass, fingers leaving no print. They were not wrong. I did choose. Prisoners were people. Pain is pain. I could not ignore that. So they banished you. So they made me honest. I was always broken by their standards. They just made it official. Cole stood, moved beside her. 2 ghosts in glass. Harwell thinks he's protecting people, probably believes it completely. But protection without compassion is just control with better branding. What do we do?" Before Cole could answer, his phone lit up. Dr. Chen, calling at 2 in the morning, which meant nothing good. "Cole, you need to get to the clinic, now." They arrived to find Dr. Chen in her office, face illuminated by scan results that looked like bad news rendered in clinical precision. She pulled up images of Nari's cellular structure from 3 months ago, then 1 month ago, then yesterday. The degradation was visible even to Cole's untrained eye, like watching someone fade in time-lapse. "How long?" he asked. "At current rate? 6 months, maybe less if she continues healing at this frequency." Nari looked at the scans with clinical detachment. "I know." "You know?" Cole's voice came out harder than intended. "You know you are dying and you just kept going? People needed help. You need help, your help. How is anyone supposed to benefit from your healing if you are dead? Then I will have mattered while I was alive." She met his eyes, calm and certain. "I would rather burn out doing good than fade away doing nothing. You should understand that. You have been fading for 10 years. The truth of it stole his anger. She was right. He had been dying slowly, safely, building monuments instead of meaning. She was dying quickly, dangerously, choosing others over herself in the same equation with different variables. "There has to be another way," he said. "Some way to sustain you. Something." Dr. Chen shook her head. "I have been researching. There is no precedent for this. She is biologically unique. Her empathy healing is not supposed to exist. There is no instruction manual for the impossible." "So we write one," Cole said. "We figure this out. We find a way." Or, Nari interrupted quietly, "We accept that some things cost everything, and that is okay. Maybe that is the point. Maybe mattering is worth more than lasting." Cole wanted to scream, wanted to fix this like she fixed everything else. But you could not fix someone who did not want fixing. You could only stand beside them and try not to watch them disappear. Jack showed up the next morning. The worker who had left, who had chosen safety over solidarity, standing on Cole's porch with his hat in his hands and shame on his face. "I heard about the inspections," Jack said, "about the senator coming after you. I wanted to say, I should have." He stopped, started over. "I was wrong. To leave. I was scared of association. But you kept helping people anyway, and I ran because it was convenient. Why are you telling me this? Because I want to come back, want to help. However I can." Jax looked directly at Cole for the first time. "I do not want to be the kind of person who abandons people for comfort. My daughter asked me why I quit. I could not give her an answer I wanted her to learn from." Cole considered him. Considered forgiveness and pragmatism, and the fact that they needed all the allies they could find. "Can you weld pressure seals on a defensive perimeter?" "I can weld anything." "Good. Because I think we are about to need fortifications." The notice came that afternoon. Official, legal, uncompromising. 48 hours to surrender Nari for deportation processing. Failure to comply would result in immediate arrest and seizure of property. The clinic would be shut down. All patients would be reported to immigration authorities. Senator Harwell had signed the order personally. At the bottom, a handwritten note. "I am sorry it came to this. I am trying to protect people. I hope you understand someday." Cole looked at the note, at the signature, at the grief pretending to be policy. "I do understand," he said to the paper. "That is what makes this tragic." He found Nari in the garden she had started behind the clinic. Small growing things that she touched daily, keeping them healthy, spending herself on life that could not thank her. 48 hours, he said. She did not look up from the tomatoes. "Then we have 48 hours to help people." "Nari!" "I know what you are going to say. That I should run. That I should hide. That living matters more than mattering." She finally looked at him, and her eyes were impossibly deep. "Running took my home. Staying can give me one, even if staying is hard. Staying might get you killed. And running will definitely make me hollow. I choose the risk that lets me be whole." Cole sat beside her in the dirt that cost more than some apartments. "You are the bravest person I have ever met. I am terrified every single day. That is what makes it brave." They sat in the garden, growing things around them, time counting down, neither of them willing to choose the safety that tasted like surrender. Tomorrow, they would fight. Tonight, they would water plants. The watch in his pocket ticked like a countdown. 48 hours, 2 days. Enough time to matter, or enough time to end. They would find out which together. Cole spent the night planning an escape route he knew she would not take. 3 different exit strategies. False identities. A ship on standby at a private spaceport 200 miles out. Enough money transferred to accounts that could not be traced to keep her comfortable for lifetimes. He mapped it all out with the precision of someone who had built an empire on logistics and was now trying to logistics his way out of caring. Nari found him in the study at dawn, surrounded by maps and manifests and the architecture of running away. "No," she said simply. "You have not even looked at the plans. I do not need to. The answer is no." Cole stood, exhausted and desperate. "You are being unreasonable. They are coming to take you, to deport you, probably to imprison you. You think martyrdom helps anyone? I think running away took my home once already. I will not let it take this one. This is not your home. This is my property, my problem, my fight. Is that what you tell yourself?" Nari moved closer and even faded. She carried a gravity that pulled at him. "That I am a problem you are solving? That this is about property instead of people? I am trying to save your life. I am trying to give it meaning. There is a difference." Cole felt something break in him. The careful control he had maintained for 10 years, the fortress walls that kept grief manageable, all of it cracking under the pressure of caring about someone who refused to be saved. "I cannot watch someone else die," he said, and his voice came out raw. "I cannot do it again. Please. Please just let me help you run. Running is dying slowly. This is living until I cannot. This is suicide with better marketing. Then what have you been doing for 10 years? Nari's voice went soft, devastating. "You built an empire on not living, made yourself into a monument to grief. At least I am burning for something that matters." "You matter," Cole shouted, and there it was, the thing he had been avoiding saying, the truth that made everything harder. "You matter more than any of this, more than the clinic, more than the cause. You, Nari, you as a person, you matter." She stopped, stared at him with those 2 deep eyes. "No one has ever said that to me before." "Then people are idiots. My people said I was defective. The military said I was weak. The refugees I helped said I was useful. You are the first person who ever said I was valuable just for existing." Her voice cracked. "Do you understand what that means? To finally matter without having to earn it?" Cole understood. Had spent 10 years trying to matter through achievement because mattering through existence had been taken from him when Sarah and Jamie died. He and Nari were the same person wearing different skins, both trying to justify their continued presence through service because service was easier than believing you had inherent worth. "Then matter by staying alive," he tried. "Please." "I'm staying alive, just not by running." She took his hands, hers cold and fading. "Cole, listen, every time I healed someone, I felt their pain leave, felt the space where it lived inside them. Do you know what I found?" "What?" "Most of it was loneliness. Physical hurt, yes, but underneath, the real pain was being alone with suffering. Not having anyone who understood. Not mattering enough for someone to care." She squeezed his hands. "You gave me the opposite. You made me matter. You let me belong. Running throws that away. Staying keeps it, even if keeping it is hard. Staying might kill you. Running definitely will. Just slower." She smiled, sad and certain. "I would rather die here mattering than live forever nowhere, forgotten. You should understand that. You chose the same thing when you kept me instead of turning me in." Cole pulled her into a hug. This fading blue alien who had wandered into his life and fixed things he did not know were broken. She fit against him like hope feels when you have forgotten how to hold it. "I am so tired of losing people," he whispered into her hair. "Then do not lose me. Be with me, however long that is." They stood like that, holding each other in a study full of escape plans neither of them would use, until the sun came up on their last full day. Dr. Chen arrived at noon with test results that confirmed the obvious. Nari was fading faster now. Stress probably. Overuse, definitely. She had maybe weeks left at current trajectory, days if she did anything dramatic. "You need to stop healing," Dr. Chen said. "Immediately. Complete rest. It is the only chance." "Complete rest means people suffer," Nari countered. "What is the point of extra days if they are empty? The point is being alive to have days at all. I have been alive for 23 years. Only the last 4 months felt like living." Dr. Chen looked to Cole for support. Cole had none to give. He understood Nari's logic even as he hated it. Some people were built to burn. You could either watch them go out or appreciate the light while it lasted. "How do we make tomorrow count?" Cole asked instead. Dr. Chen sighed. "I will prepare documentation. Everything we have done, everyone we have helped. Make it public, make it defensible. If they come for her, at least the galaxy will know what they are destroying." Rita arrived in the afternoon with 43 people from town. The ones Nari had healed, the ones who remembered what mercy looked like when it wore blue skin. They formed a circle around the clinic, silent and determined. "We figured if they are coming," Rita said, "they should see who they are hurting." Jax came with welding equipment and started reinforcing the fence line. Not a defense, exactly. More like a statement, a line in the desert sand that said this far, no further. Cole watched his empty property fill with people who cared. Watched community form around compassion. Watched everything he thought he understood about loss get rewritten by those willing to risk for someone who had risked for them. That night, Nari sat on the porch with him, watching the sunset turn the desert gold and red. Her skin was translucent now. He could almost see through her to the chair behind. She was disappearing in slow motion. "I am scared," she admitted, "of tomorrow, of what happens. Me too, but not of dying. Of making dying mean nothing, of being just another loss in a galaxy full of losses." Cole took her hand. "So light now, barely there. You fixed my son's watch. You healed Maya. You gave Rita 8 years back. You turned my mausoleum into a home. Trust me, you are not going to be forgotten." She leaned her head on his shoulder, weightless and somehow still heavy with meaning. "Thank you. For finding me. For keeping me. For letting me matter. Thank you for teaching me that mattering is possible." He kissed the top of her head, gentle. "Whatever happens tomorrow, we face it together. No running, no hiding. Just us and whatever that brings." "Just us," she agreed. They sat until the stars came out, mapping light against darkness, two fading things holding on to each other, and the idea that sometimes courage looks like staying when leaving would be easier. Tomorrow would bring what it brought. Tonight, they had this. The watch in Cole's pocket ticked steady, counting down the hours to a confrontation that would either prove compassion was stronger than law or that good intentions were just another luxury the galaxy could not afford. He held Nari a little tighter. She glowed a little brighter, one last time, and the desert night held them both, infinite and indifferent, and somehow, for this moment, exactly enough. They came at dawn, which Cole supposed was meant to be symbolic. New day, new order, the kind of theatrical timing that politicians loved and people experienced as violence. Senator Harwell arrived with official vehicles and unofficial militia, with police who looked uncomfortable and enforcers who looked eager. The kind of force you brought when you wanted compliance, not conversation. But they found a problem. The problem was 217 people standing between the road and the clinic, blocking access with their bodies and their stubborn refusal to move. Rita at the front, hip working perfectly, arms crossed. Maya and her parents. The construction worker who could lift his arms again. Every person Nari had healed, and dozens more who had heard the stories. Jax stood with his welding crew. Dr. Chen stood with her medical bag and her documentation. Cole stood with his lawyers and his fortune, and his absolute commitment to making this as expensive and public as possible for everyone involved. And Nari stood in the clinic doorway, barely visible, almost transparent, but present, refusing to hide. Harwell emerged from his vehicle, taking in the scene with the kind of calculation that came from years in politics. He was younger than Cole expected. 40-something, well-dressed, carrying the kind of controlled anger that came from believing you were absolutely right. "Mr. Redding," Harwell called out, "this does not need to be difficult. You received the order. You had time to comply. Do not make this harder than it has to be." Cole stepped forward, aware he was performing now, that everything he said would be recorded, analyzed, used. "Senator, with respect, you will have to go through every single one of these people to reach her. And I guarantee you that footage will not help your next campaign. These people are obstructing justice. These people are defending mercy. There is a difference." Harwell's jaw tightened. He gestured, and a man in militia gear stepped forward. Not official police. Private enforcement. The kind you hired when you needed the law interpreted with flexibility. "Last chance to disperse," the militia leader announced. "We are authorized to use force if necessary." Rita laughed. Loud and sharp. "You are going to attack a 74-year-old woman and a bunch of people who were dying a month ago? That is your big plan? Make yourself the villain on every news feed in the galaxy?" Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Phones rose, recording. This was going to be messy either way, but now it would be messy with witnesses. Harwell stepped forward himself, bypassing his enforcers, walking directly toward the crowd. People parted slightly, uncertain. He stopped in front of Cole. "I know what you think of me," Harwell said quietly, "that I am heartless, that I do not understand. But I do understand. I understand that laws exist to protect people, that borders mean something, that we cannot just let everyone in because it feels good. This is not about everyone. This is about one person who heals. One illegal person, one exception that creates precedent. Where does it end, Cole? How many exceptions before we have no structure at all?" Cole met his eyes. Saw the grief there, the old wound pretending to be principle. "You lost your daughter, Elizabeth, 12 years old, killed by extremists. I read about it. I am sorry." Harwell went very still. "You do not get to use my daughter." "I am not using her. I am understanding you. You are scared that caring means vulnerability, that letting people in means risking what happened before. I get it. I lost my family too. Built walls just like yours. Then you should understand why those walls matter." "I do. I also understand that walls kept me alone for 10 years while I died, slowly, safely. And what broke those walls was someone who needed help more than I needed protection." Cole gestured to Nari. "She is not a threat. She is not a precedent. She is just someone trying to matter before she fades. And if we cannot make room for that, then what exactly are we protecting? Order, stability, safety. For who? The people you keep out or the people you keep comfortable?" Harwell had no answer for that. Or had too many answers. He turned to the crowd, voice rising. "You all think you are helping. You think you are doing good. But good intentions without structure is just chaos. That refugee could be carrying disease, could be a security risk, could be the precedent that destroys everything we have built." "She cured my daughter," Maya's father shouted back. "Your laws said my child should die because we could not afford treatment. That alien said she should live because life matters. You tell me which one is chaos." More voices joined. Stories of healing. Stories of choosing to care when the systems failed. The crowd was not angry. They were earnest. desperate to make Harwell see what they saw. Nari walked forward. The crowd parted for her automatically. She moved through them like light through water, barely there but undeniable. Stopped in front of Harwell. This fading blue alien and this grief-hardened politician, face to face. "I am sorry about your daughter," Nari said softly. "I am sorry that you hurt. I am sorry that hurt made you scared. You do not know anything about me. I know pain, I feel it. Yours is old, deep, it makes sense." She held out her hand. "I could help, if you let me. I could take some of it away." Harwell stared at her hand like it was a weapon. "I do not want your help. Maish, you do not want to stop hurting. I understand that too. Sometimes pain is all we have left of people we loved. Letting it go feels like betrayal." Her eyes were impossibly deep, impossibly kind. "But holding it forever just means they died twice. Once when they left, once when we stopped living." Something cracked in Harwell's expression, just for a moment. Then the control reasserted itself, professional mask back in place. "Step aside," he said. "I have orders to enforce." "Pro, then enforce them," Cole said. "But know that everyone is watching. Everyone will know that you chose law over life. That when faced with someone who heals, you decided harm was more important than hope." Harwell signaled. The militia moved forward. Not violent yet, but getting ready. Pushing at the crowd's edges, testing resolve. Cole felt his heart hammer. This was it. The moment where words became action, where beliefs became consequences. "Wait, Doctor," Chen called out, stepping forward with a tablet. "Before you do this, you should know. I have documented everything, every healing, every patient. Complete medical files proving what she can do. I am publishing them. Right now, to every medical journal, every news outlet, every network that will listen." She tapped the screen. "Sent. There. Done. The galaxy knows what you are about to destroy. They know what she is. They will know what you choose." Harwell's phone began buzzing. Then buzzing more. His advisors pulled him aside, urgent whispers. Cole could see the calculation happening. The political cost, the optics, the way this could ruin carefully built narratives. But the militia leader was not a politician. He was someone who believed in force and had been given permission to use it. He stepped toward Nari, hand reaching for her arm. "Come with me. Do not make this difficult." Nari did not move. "I am not going." "You do not have a choice." "Everyone has a choice. I am choosing to stay." The militia leader grabbed her arm. She gasped, not in pain but in his pain, the old injury in his shoulder flaring through her empathy. She reflexively healed it, light flaring blue, and he jerked back in shock. "What did you do to me?" "I made it stop hurting. You are welcome." The moment hung there, absurd and profound. The crowd started laughing. Not mockery, relief. The kind of laughter that comes when tension breaks in unexpected directions. Then someone else pushed forward. Not militia. Just an angry man, face twisted, shouting about aliens and invasion and everything wrong being someone else's fault. He had a gun. Cole saw it too late. Everything slowed down. The man raising the weapon, Nari frozen. The crowd screaming. Harwell shouting for someone to stop him. Cole moved, not thinking, not planning, just moving. Putting himself between Nari and the bullet that came anyway. The impact hit like the universe ending. He fell, heard Nari scream, felt hands on him, blue hands, glowing hands, hands that burned with desperate light. The world went white, then dark, then warm. Cole woke to light, not regular light, the kind that felt like being inside hope. Blue and brilliant and burning through him in waves that were pain and relief mixed so thoroughly he could not tell them apart. He gasped, tried to move, found Nari's hands pressed to his chest, her whole body incandescent. "Stay still," she commanded, voice shaking. "Stay still, please, please stay still." He could feel it. the bullet wound closing, tissue knitting, blood vessels remembering how to connect, his heart stuttering back into steady rhythm, death retreating, life insisting, and underneath it all, Nari pouring herself into him, using everything she had left to keep him breathing. "Nari," he tried to say, "stop. You're killing yourself." "Then I die doing what I was made for." The light intensified. Cole heard screaming but distant, like he was underwater. He heard someone shouting for a medic. Heard Harwell's voice, shocked and commanding. Heard Rita crying. Heard the world reacting to a miracle it had not asked for but could not look away from. Nari's skin went from translucent to nearly invisible. He could see through her to the sky behind. See her fading in real time, spending every particle of herself to save him. Her face was serene, certain. She smiled. "You matter, Cole Redding. You matter so much. Thank you for teaching me that mattering goes both ways. Do not leave me," he begged. "Please, I just found you. Do not leave me alone again." "You are not alone. You have Rita, Dr. Chen, Maya, Jax. Everyone who learned that caring is possible. You built that. You gave me the space to show them." Her voice was fading with her body. "You showed me what home means. That is enough. That is everything." The light pulsed one final time, massive and absolute, a supernova of compassion that rolled out from her in waves. Cole felt his wound seal completely, felt his heart beat strong and sure, felt every person in the crowd touched by that light, their old pains easing, their chronic hurts fading, their bodies remembering what whole felt like. Then Nari collapsed. Cole caught her, barely. She weighed nothing, was nothing, almost transparent, barely holding form. Her eyes were still open, still aware, but so faint he had to focus to see her at all. "No," he said, not a plea, a command. "No. You do not get to do this. You do not get to save me and leave." "Had to," she breathed, voice like wind. "You taught me choosing costs. I choose you." Dr. Chen was there, scanner out, reading vitals that were almost flatlined. "She is shutting down. Complete cellular collapse." "I cannot stop it." "There has to be something," Cole insisted. "Something we can do." "There is nothing." She gave everything. Literally everything. Dr. Chen's voice cracked. "She saved you and healed half the people here in the process. She is gone." Cole held Nari's disappearing form, this alien who had wandered into his life and fixed things he did not know were broken. "You told me you only fix what still wants to live. So want to live. Choose to live. Please." "I am living," Nari whispered. "This is what living is. Mattering. Being remembered. Making the pain worth something." She touched his face, and he barely felt it. "You concerted what was broken in me, Cole. You made me believe I had value. That is more than healing. That is love. Then let me love you longer. You will. Forever. That is how love works." The light in her eyes flickered, steadied, flickered again. Cole felt the scream building in his chest, the grief he had held at bay for 10 years, the loss he could not survive again. But before it could escape, something else happened. The crowd moved forward, all of them, surrounding Cole and Nari, pressing close, hands reaching out, touching her, touching each other, Rita and Maya and Jax and Dr. Chen, and everyone she had healed, everyone who had learned compassion from her example, forming a circle. "We are here," Rita said. "We are here and we remember. We remember what you gave us, what you showed us. You are not disappearing into nothing. You are going into us, into everyone you touched. That is not dying. That is spreading." Others joined, voices overlapping, gratitude and grief mixed, stories of healing, promises to carry forward, the kind of collective witness that turns individual loss into community memory. Nari was fading, yes, but fading into something larger than herself, becoming part of the story of the desert that learned to care. Even Harwell was there, standing at the edge, face devastated. Watching this alien he had come to arrest become a saint in real time. Watching his certainty crumble against the reality of compassion that cost everything. The man who had fired the gun was on his knees, sobbing. "I am sorry. I am so sorry. I did not mean to. I did not understand." Nari turned her head slightly toward him. Managed one more smile. "I know. Pain makes people scared, forgiven." The man broke completely. Others held him. Even in dying, she was healing. Cole felt Nari's hand in his, barely there, more concept than substance. Her voice was almost gone. "Cole, the watch. Listen." He pulled out Jamie's pocket watch. Still ticking, steady and true. The heartbeat of his lost son, kept alive by an alien who understood that some things were worth saving, even when broken. "It remembers," Nari breathed. "Things remember. People remember." "I will be remembered. That is enough." "It is not enough," Cole said, tears finally falling. "I wanted more time. I wanted to show you everything. I wanted you to have decades. I wanted you to have joy that did not cost you. I had joy, had home, had you." She was barely visible now, more light than form. "That was decades in 4 months. That was everything. Thank you. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for keeping me. Thank you for teaching me that broken things can still be holy." The light pulsed one last time. Soft. Gentle. The kind of fade that was not fighting, just accepting. Nari's eyes closed. Her form dispersed into particles that caught the dawn sun and glittered like stars. She was gone. Cole held empty air and howled. The sound tore out of him all the grief he had stored, all the loss he had survived, all the love he had finally learned to give now taken away. The crowd held him, let him break, let him be human in his devastation. "Doctor." Chen checked readings that showed nothing. "She is gone, completely. Cellular dissolution. She spent herself entirely." But then something, a faint glow in the dirt where she had been, growing brighter. Roots forming, stems rising and blooming, impossibly fast, a flower. Blue and luminous and alive, growing from the spot where Nari had given everything. "What is that?" someone whispered. Dr. Chen scanned it, eyes widening. "It is her cellular structure. She did not die. She transformed, became something else, something that can sustain without pain." Cole stared at the flower, so small, so insufficient. "She is a plant now? She is peace now. She is release from hurting. She gave so much that she became something that can only give, no cost. She is still here. Just different." Cole reached out, touched a petal. It glowed brighter under his hand. Warm. Alive. Not Nari exactly, but not Nari either. Something between. Something transformed. "She found her answer," Rita said softly. "How to heal forever without dying. Become something that heals just by existing." The crowd stood silent, witnessing. Harwell approached, slowly looking at the flower, at Cole, at everything his certainty had tried to destroy. "I was wrong," Harwell said. "I was so wrong. I thought protection meant walls. I thought safety meant control. But she showed me, she showed all of us, that the strongest protection is care. That real safety is when we hold each other up." He knelt, touched the flower gently. It glowed. His phone buzzed. He looked at it, then at Cole. "The charges are dropped, all of them. I am writing new legislation, asylum for healers, protection for those who give. She will not have died for nothing." "She did not die," Cole corrected, still holding the impossible flower. "She changed. That is different." The sun rose fully, turning the desert gold. The flower glowed brighter. And Cole Redding, billionaire who had spent 10 years building monuments to grief, understood finally what his wife and son would have wanted him to learn. That love is not about holding on. It is about being transformed by those we love. That grief is not the opposite of joy, but the proof that joy mattered. That sometimes the greatest gifts are the ones that change us irreversibly. Nari had fixed what was broken in him. Now it was his turn to make that fixing mean something. He stood, held the flower, looked at the crowd of witnesses. "We build the clinic," he said. "Not hiding, not secret. Official, public, for everyone who hurts. Humans, aliens, anyone. We call it what it is, care, and we make it free, make it available, make it proof that she was here and she mattered." "We help," Rita said immediately. "We build," Jax agreed. "We document," Dr. Chen added. "We teach, we spread this." The crowd murmured agreement. Harwell nodded. Even the militia looked ashamed and committed to better. Cole planted the flower in the center of the clinic grounds, where everyone would see it, where it would grow and glow and remind them daily why they were there, who they were honoring. The watch in his pocket ticked steady. Jamie's heart, Nari's gift, both still beating, both still teaching him how to live. 6 months later, the clinic opened officially under a desert sky that looked like possibility. They called it House of Stars because Nari used to say that everyone was made of stardust, and stardust remembered how to shine even when broken. The name stuck. Felt right. Felt like her. Cole stood at the entrance watching workers put final touches on the sign. Not a mansion. Not a monument to grief. Just a place where people could hurt less. Where species meant nothing and suffering meant everything. The building sprawled, modular and practical, designed by Dr. Chen and built by Jax, and funded by a billionaire who had finally found something worth spending his fortune on. The glowing blue flower grew in the center of the courtyard, taller now, spreading, creating others, a garden of bioluminescent blooms that hummed with faint warmth. Patients sat near them, and their pain eased. Not healed perfectly, not magically, just eased. The way a hand on your shoulder eases. The way being seen eases. Nari was still giving, even transformed. Cole touched one of the flowers every morning, said hello, said thank you, said all the things he wished he had said more when she had ears to hear them. The flower always glowed brighter under his hand. Dr. Chen said it was responding to his bioelectrical field. Cole chose to believe it was something else. "Mr. Redding?" A young woman approached, nervous, human, holding a small child. "Is this where we go, for help?" "This is where you go," Cole confirmed. "What can we do?" She explained. Chronic condition, no insurance, had heard stories, had driven 300 miles on hope and desperation. Cole listened, patient, the way Nari had taught him. Then led her inside where Dr. Chen and a team of human and alien healers worked in coordinated compassion. The clinic saw 200 patients a week now, more every month. Some paid, most could not. None were turned away. Cole had liquidated half his empire to fund it, and people called him crazy. He called it overdue. Rita ran the volunteer coordination with terrifying efficiency. Jax trained construction teams to build satellite clinics in other cities. Maya, the 7-year-old who should have died, spent weekends reading to patients in the waiting room. Her parents ran fundraising. Everyone who had been touched by Nari found ways to pass it forward. Even Harwell helped. The senator had sponsored legislation protecting refugees with healing abilities, creating pathways for asylum, funding medical research into empathic care. He visited the clinic monthly, quiet and thoughtful, still grieving his daughter but grieving differently now. Less like a wound and more like a scar. Still there, still tender, but healed enough to live around. "I named the bill after her," Harwell told Cole during one visit. "The Nari Accord, for compassionate asylum. It is passing next month." "She would have liked that," Cole said. "She always wanted her pain to mean something." "It means everything." Harwell looked at the flowers, glowing soft in the afternoon light. "I spent 15 years making my daughter's death into anger. She made her own transformation into growth. I'm trying to learn from that. We all are." They stood together, the politician and the billionaire, two men who had built walls to survive loss, now building bridges instead. It was not redemption exactly, more like redirection. Pain channeled into purpose. Grief alchemized into giving. Dr. Chen published her research to every major medical institution in the galaxy. Empathic healing, proven and documented. The Siren government reached out, apologizing, asking questions, trying to understand what they had called defective. Other species came forward with similar abilities, hidden away, scared. The clinic became a hub, a training center, a proof that caring could scale. Cole sold 3 more companies to fund expansion, kept only what he needed to live simply. The mansion sat empty most days. He preferred the small apartment behind the clinic, where the flowers glowed at night, and he could hear the hum of people being helped through the walls. That was home now, not the building, the purpose. He dated occasionally. Nothing serious. Rita set him up constantly, which was annoying and touching. He was not looking for replacement. Just company. Just proof that being alone was choice, not fate. He thought Nari would approve. The pocket watch stayed with him always, ticking steady. Jamie's heart and Nari's gift. Both reminders that broken things could still work. That silence could end. That time kept moving whether you were ready or not. On the 6-month anniversary, they held a memorial. Not sad, celebratory. Everyone Nari had touched, everyone who had learned compassion from her example, gathering in the courtyard around her flowers. They told stories, shared memories, laughed at her terrible jokes about human customs, cried at what they had lost, celebrated what remained. Maya approached Cole during the gathering, serious and small. "Mr. Redding, can I ask something?" "Always." "Was she scared? When she saved you?" Cole considered the question, considered honesty versus comfort, chose honesty. "Yes, I think she was terrified, but she did it anyway. That is what makes it brave. I want to be brave like that. You already are. You survived what should have killed you. You are here, asking hard questions. That is brave." Maya thought about it, then smiled. "I'm going to be a healer when I grow up, like her, but the kind that does not fade. I think she would love that." The ceremony ended with lights. Bioluminescent lanterns released into the desert sky, carrying wishes and memories upward. Cole released his own, watching it join the others, a constellation of gratitude rising. Weeks passed. Months. The clinic grew. More locations, more healers, more people learning that caring was not weakness but strength, that empathy was not soft but revolutionary, that choosing others over yourself was not martyrdom but meaning. The galaxy was changing, slowly, one healed person at a time. One bridge built between species, one choice to care when caring was hard. Nari had started something she did not live to see completed, but that was fine. That was how change worked, planting seeds you would never see flower. Cole thought about that often, about seeds and flowers and transformation, about how death was not always ending. Sometimes it was metamorphosis. Sometimes it was spreading yourself so widely that you could not be contained in one form anymore. One evening he sat in the courtyard alone, surrounded by glowing flowers that hummed with faint warmth. A young siren woman approached, cautious, blue-skinned and terrified. "Please," she said, "I heard stories about refuge, about a place that helps. Is this real?" Cole saw Nari in her. Same fear, same desperate hope, same absolute certainty that she was broken and the same absolute wrong about that certainty. He smiled, extended a hand. "This is real. Come inside. Let me tell you about someone who taught me that broken and holy are often the same thing." She took his hand. He led her inside past the sign that read, "House of Stars," past the flowers that glowed brighter as they passed, into a building full of people who had learned that the most human thing you could do was care. Not human as species, human as choice. Human as in seeing someone hurting and deciding that mattered more than convenience, more than safety, more than rules. Human as in building bridges when walls would be easier, as in staying when running made sense, as in giving when you could take, as in healing when hate was simpler. That was what Nari had taught them, that humanity was not biology. It was decision. Daily decision to choose compassion when indifference was available, to choose presence when absence was easier, to choose others when yourself was simpler. Every species could be human. Every person could choose. That was the revolution. That was the message spreading through the galaxy, one healed person at a time. That was what Nari had become by transforming. Not just flowers, idea, movement, proof. Cole walked the new siren woman through the clinic, showing her the possibilities. The other healers working, the patients resting. The community that had formed around the simple premise that suffering should be seen and addressed without asking permission first. "You have a gift," he told her. "Your people might call it defect, but gifts and defects are often the same thing viewed from different angles. Here, we help you understand what you can do, help you do it safely, help you matter." Her eyes filled. "I can stay?" "As long as you need. This is your home now." She broke down crying. Cole held her. This stranger who was not a stranger, this mirror of someone he had loved and lost and kept finding in everyone who needed help. The flowers around them glowed brighter, and he swore he felt Nari in the light, still here, still helping, still showing them how. The watch in his pocket ticked steady, the flowers hummed their warmth. And Cole Redding, billionaire who had learned that empires were easy, but mattering was hard, understood finally what it meant to be alive instead of just breathing. It meant carrying others when they could not walk. Meant being carried when you could not stand. Meant building places where that exchange was normal, where helping was default, where love was the currency that mattered most. Nari had spent herself saving him. Now he spent himself proving she was right to do so. That was how love worked. That was how transformation spread. That was how broken things became holy, one choice at a time, one person helped, one heart changed. That was enough. That was everything. He walked the siren woman to her room, made sure she had what she needed, then returned to the courtyard, sat beside the flowers, touched a petal. "Thank you," he said to the light, to the memory, to the lesson still teaching. "Thank you for finding me. Thank you for fixing me. Thank you for showing me that caring is how we become real." The flower pulsed once, warm and certain, still listening, still loving, still here. And Cole smiled, because broken things could still be beautiful, because lonely men could still learn connection, because humanity was not species, it was choice. The choice to care when caring cost everything. The choice to say, even when the universe was indifferent and loss was inevitable and pain was guaranteed, someone else's hurt matters more than my comfort. That was the message. That was the revolution. That was humanity. Fuck yeah. Not humanity the species. Humanity the commitment to each other, across species, across divides. Across everything that said caring was weakness. Nari had shown them. Now they were spreading it. Seed by seed, flower by flower, heart by heart, building a galaxy where broken things got fixed, where lonely things found home, where caring was not martyrdom, but meaning, where everyone, regardless of species or status, could say with certainty, "I matter, you matter, we all matter." And mattering was enough. Mattering was everything. The desert wind blew soft. The flowers glowed bright. The watch ticked steady. And somewhere, in the space between transformation and transcendence, Nari smiled. Her work was not done. It was just beginning. In everyone she had touched. In everyone they touched. Spreading like light, like warmth, like hope that refused to fade even when fading seemed inevitable. That was the gift. That was the meaning. That was why she had mattered and always would. Because she taught a galaxy how to care. And caring, it turned out, was the most revolutionary act of all. In the end, Cole learned something almost embarrassingly simple. Humanity isn't a species. It's a decision we keep remaking every day, especially when it costs us. Nari didn't save the galaxy with power. She saved it by proving that empathy, when practiced stubbornly, can rearrange the shape of an entire world. And maybe that's the quiet truth hidden under all our noise. We become real not by surviving, but by choosing who we are while we do. But what does a story like this whisper to you? Does compassion still count if it terrifies you? How much of yourself are you willing to give before you finally admit you're also allowed to receive? And when have you underestimated the impact of a single gentle act, one that nobody else saw but changed you anyway? If you made it all the way here, write Starheart in the comments so I know Nari's light reached you too. Tell me which city or planet you're watching from. Yes, even if it's a small town that barely shows up on maps. And if this story stirred something in you, even the annoying "why am I emotional again" feeling, subscribe so you don't miss the next journey. Hit like so the algorithm thinks you're a better human than you claim. Hype this video in the comments and share it with someone who needs a reminder that caring, even messy, imperfect, inconvenient caring, is still the most revolutionary thing in the universe. And stick around for the next video appearing on your screen right now. The journey continues.